All right. Hello, everybody. This is our first take. I might fuck this up a few times, but whatever. This is going to be a podcast with the pre-merge players voted on Survivor San Diego Season 1. You will also see that Brandon is in this podcast right now. I thought it'd be pretty interesting to bring Brandon in. He has a few pretty interesting interactions with the pre-merge players, so I think it would be, get some background information from his end as well. So we have, let's go around. So we'll go start with Brandon.
How's it going, guys?
Christoph.
What's up? I guess I don't get an introduction.
We're playing it by ear. We have Dylan as well. Dylan Sharp, not Dylan Turksoy.
S.
We have Paige. Paige all the way from Pittsburgh. And we have Sam, recently voted out in the last episode.
Hi, guys.
Oh.
So sad. But one of my favorite episodes by
Not
far.
really. Not really.
You're just butthurt.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Christoph is
like,
not
yeah,
really.
fucking guy.
It's wild because that was like 10 months ago at this point.
Was it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so a little background is we started filming June 28th. The season went to about August 9th. It was about 42 days. I think that sounds right. And, the first season, we didn't really know what we were doing the first season. At the end of the day, we were just a bunch of college kids running around with cameras. A lot of these guys haven't been in front of a camera whatsoever. And they trusted me and they came on the show. And, obviously, clearly, not everyone knew the game to the best extent. I think it's pretty evident. We can't really hide that in the edit, but it is part of the game. Survivor San Diego is a project that I love so much with my heart, and it's because of these guys that they really made this happen. So the fact that they took the time out of their summers to come help and film the show is amazing, and I can't thank you guys more enough. Like, thank you so much. Obviously your time on the show was very short lived. We will see what happens with Brandon's fate, but here we are now. And, I always wanted to do a podcast. I feel like it's just a good way to kind of go behind the scenes a little bit and maybe, because not everything goes in the episode. There's a lot of footage that didn't go in the episode. And here is just, to go over a few things in case you guys want to say your everlasting words,
What episode are we on again right now? Episode 4?
So next week, as in tomorrow, is the 5th episode. So it is the first merge episode.
That's one Brandon gets voted out on, right?
Yeah, that's one. Goddamn.
We'll see. We'll have to see.
Damn, stop spoiling.
All right, so let's go back to episode 2. By the way, episode 1, Alex and Selena were voted out. Alex, just a little bit of a context. Alex is pretty much dissociated from the show. Alex is a good friend to a few of us, but she was voted out the first day, and she decided not to stick around. She didn't really know what she was getting herself into, but Alex is a great person overall. And Selena, she was part of crew. She helped out film throughout the season, but Selena as well just decided not to join. But yeah, actually, I want to ask Sam, because Sam is actually really good friends with Alex. They've been friends. How long have you been friends for?
I played Minecraft with Alex, unbeknownst to me, before high school. And then we went to high school together, and I met her through a mutual friend. And it came out a couple years later that she was the person I was playing Minecraft with for a few weeks. So I don't know, complicated question. Long
Wait,
answer.
You were sand hater? XX sand hater?
So
Yeah.
we'll go into the Sandgate. We'll go into Sandgate a little bit, but a little context with Alex is, she actually had a lot of people on that tribe that she was kind of friends with. She had Tommy and she had Sam. So when I was making the tribes originally, I was kind of freaking out because I thought maybe the game would be to in Alex's favor. I actually had a little bit of a podcast by myself before the season started, and I said that Alex would win Survivor San Diego Season 1. So if you couldn't figure out already, it did not go well.
That is wrong. Forget it.
But I think it's also pretty great because, it shows that even though we have these pre-existent relationships in this game, Survivor's meant to be a bunch of strangers. In our season, it didn't really matter too much. We won't go into how much of it impacts the season, but Brandon as well. Brandon had Selena and Paige, two females he is really good friends with outside of this game, has been friends with for years now, And we know what happens in 2 episodes. Brandon did not care at all. But let's go into Sandgate a little bit. Sandgate is when Alex was half-assing the challenge. We try to zoom in on a little bit, but Alex was essentially digging in the sand, and she just cannot do it. And apparently, it led to some comments about it. Sam, what do you want to go into, like what she was saying and what the fuck you were thinking?
I didn't even notice it. I didn't even notice her not digging,
Yeah.
But
I will say
but I don't know if I forget if this was covered in the episode, but we pulled everybody aside. We got a group together and we went, hey, once we lost, before we debate and think about who we should vote out, does anybody not want to do this? Does anybody want to not commit to the schedule of this whole show and just leave? Like, that's the most fair way to do this first challenge. And everybody's silent. And then Alex goes, well, I just really don't like the sand, but like I'm down to stay. And I wanted Alex to stay around because I knew I could count on her vote. But at that moment, all eyes just went to her, and we all just looked at each other, and we all knew. We all knew what was going to happen.
accidentally made a target out of your friend.
I didn't do anything. She did it.
Like that. I mean, and Dylan was the first guy we were looking at because he got us out of the challenge.
Yeah.
That's what
and then,
I thought.
and then we talked a little bit about it, and then it became clear that it was going to be Alex. But I used the fact that Dylan's name came up first, and you were the first one to say it, and then I used it as I'm saving Dylan in this game. So that's how I got Dylan on my side immediately.
I didn't even. You have to understand when I'm watching the episode and I'm listening to him talk about how Kristoff saved me the first challenge and whatnot. Dude, no part of me thought that allegiance existed. I did not think Dylan thought that you didn't save Dylan at all.
Not really. Like, it was like his name came up, and then I was like, what about Al? And then we were all like, but Alex didn't really participate. And then we were like, yeah, Alex. But like the fact that his name came up was just like instant. Like, I just used it as like, Sam said, like,
Oh my god.
So Alex actually, she texted me this and she told me she wanted to say this, but she never actually went out and said it. But Alex had like a nail condition where essentially her nails are brittle, so that is why she was digging like that. Oh well, goodbye, Alex. But all right, let's go to episode.
That makes me want to vote her out even more. What do you?
Damn.
What kind of nail condition?
bro.
I have a nail condition.
I guess just digging and I don't know. But okay, so Selena, she's voted out. The second person voted out. But before we get to Selena, really, Paige is given an immunity idol clue. And at this moment, Paige's game was an uphill battle pretty much. So Kristoff, before we go to Paige, why did you pick Paige? Why did you pick Paige to give the immunity idol clue to?
I mean, I figured my first thought was like I didn't want to give it to someone like I didn't know, but I also thought if I gave it to Paige, like she would end up just sharing it with everyone, because like I didn't know how serious people were about the game at that point. Which I mean, and then also it was kind of just like she just kind of was standing kind of in front of everybody. That was partially what it was. It was like I'm gonna give it to someone. Oh, she's also standing kind of in front of everybody. I'll just give it to her.
Paige's fatal error
I
was
knew
where
that
she
whoever
stood.
I gave it to was going to be a target.
Standing in the wrong spot.
I knew whoever got it was going to be a target, so tried to put. I was thinking like, who would I want? Like who? It was either who do I want to have get voted out, or who do I think is going to like actually use it to stay longer? And clearly that it just created a target, and she was gone like instantly.
So
Yeah.
go for it, Paige. Talk about that entire week. Talk about Six Flags and just talk about where your mindset was with this clue, because here I am getting your confessionals ready to break the screen because I'm just like, what are you doing? You're saying this and then you're doing the other thing. You thought maybe you could get away with it, but clearly with the rest of the Leilani tribe, you were already off to a really bad start. So just go into that.
Yeah, I was dumb as fuck, actually. I didn't know people, and it's stupid, and I, like, after she got voted off, that's when I realized people were taking it seriously, which is dumb, because it's $1,000 prize. And I was just having fun at Six Flags with you when you were getting all of these text messages about, like, people gonna vote Selena off. No, but I had, and it's on me. I didn't watch enough Survivor. I didn't know gameplay like that. I was happy to get it. I was like, that's so sweet of him. I thought it was just random. I didn't know it was a target. I didn't know anything like that. I initially actually was gonna share it, but then I was like, well, why not just try and find it? And then that side note, me finding it took like what, an hour and a half?
It was very painful. I was very
It
tired.
was so
Everyone was very
long.
tired. That
So
was
long.
I was so
It was
pissed
such an easy clue too.
because I was
It
like,
was
dude,
after Six Flags too.
yeah, it was like at midnight, dude. It was
Yeah.
preposterous. I just wanted
I
to
made
go
him
to
come
bed.
outside and just sit and watch me look on the wrong side of the street for a few hours. So
So what happens?
no, but
Oh yeah, go for it. Sorry.
no, I was just saying it's like it's on me. I realized that I should have taken it more seriously sooner than I did. And honestly, I should have like taken the time to know Survivor gameplay more than I didn't know it enough. And I'm not saying that was the only issue I had, but I think I would have done a lot of stuff differently if I had like just taken the time to watch like a good amount of seasons of the show and just figured out how people went about it. But
So Selena gets voted out, and we go to the card challenge. The card challenge, one of my favorite challenges. Maybe we'll see it in season 2. Maybe we won't. Maybe we'll see a different iteration of it. But we go to the card challenge. Kristoff was not there. He had a family trip. Sam was a card placer. Paige, you were also a card placer. You did not decide to run. You know, did you feel like, okay, I have to win this challenge? Or you thought maybe you could be okay. That week is one of my favorite episodes as well. Brandon, we will get into Brandon as well. And one of my favorite video sessions of the entire season is at July 4th. But, Paige, what was going through your head for that challenge? I mean, I don't know.
at that
So many
point,
people have come up to me and they're like, dude, I could have destroyed that challenge. All those people are fucking idiots. Why was it so hard? And I was like, I don't know.
it was a nightmare. After Selena got voted out, that's when I realized I was gonna definitely who else would get voted out next, but I knew I was like definitely gonna get voted out next. So I knew we had to win that challenge. And I think you can see it. I think there's like one shot you included where I was just like pissed and terrified when we lost. Because I knew I had a feeling what was gonna happen. But it was tough, and I can't speak to it because I was just like I was doing the cards. I wasn't running back and forth. I didn't have to memorize stuff like that. It was hard. I can understand that. It was really hard. I think our team got mixed up, like kind of like reading them or something like that, which was tough. But in the end, it would have been nice to win, but I think everyone did pretty good. And Bella fell, which was pretty funny. I love Bella, not in that sense, but it was a good challenge. I hated that challenge, but it was a good challenge. So
Dylan, I
yeah.
wanna go to you for a sec because you have a few moments in that challenge where what is with this whole King of Spades thing? What is with this whole fucking up the row and Dre? Like one of the only times we see Dre mad in the show, Dre just fucking yelling at you.
You were there, Reed, Dylan? You were there, Reed?
Oh, was
No,
Reed fucking up?
Dylan was
Was
running
Reed
in.
messing you
I
guys
was
up?
the read.
Oh, he
Reed
was there.
was the
Reed,
weak link. Or weak link.
Yeah, when I was doing the challenge, I think the reason that I was so all over the place was I was so confused when you were talking about the board on one end and then how we're supposed to like apply it to where the card placers were. So I was like, I think I was reading it upside down. And for some reason, I had this obsession with like the King of Spades in my head that I thought I had it over and over again, and I just never did. It was definitely unfortunate. I didn't mean to uh, cause trouble in the middle of the challenge, especially with Dre. I think it was just more so I was confused about the orientation and how to put the cards where, tell them where to go.
So you're obviously very like unorganized and kind of freaking out in this challenge. The challenge ends. Talladega wins. Great performance by them. But everyone heads home. But Dylan and Brandon decide to stay back. And we see Dylan come up to Brandon and claim that he has an immunity idol. So, we see you in the challenge completely freaking out. You see Dre mad at you, and you start just pulling shit out of your ass. Like, what were you talking about when you were talking to Brandon? I will give you the benefit of the doubt that you thought you were making a good play. You thought maybe the bluffing that you had the idol was a good idea. But the fact that you took it back and then later told him that you didn't have the idol, that's when it's like, wait, what the fuck is this guy doing? So I love it. I think it's a great moment. I think, in the game, everyone's kind of freaking out all the time. I get it. It comes out. But that moment right there was, I don't know, go into it.
Yeah, so from Selena's tribal council, I think I was just too paranoid. I knew I had my alliance with like Brandon, Chris, Dre, Rebecca, whatnot, but when I saw those votes for my name that came up from the girls, for some reason in my mind, I just thought that I was next. So in the back of my mind, after that tribal council, I thought about a way to secure myself next week because I kind of felt something like a target on the back of my shoulder. And especially after the card challenge and like how soft spoken I am and how loud Dre is, I felt like I wouldn't be able to explain myself like, hey, like I'm good for the future challenges and I'll be, this was just a one time thing. But as far as my play with or my confession with Brandon, at the time, I was thinking because this was before we swapped to trying to do like a whole like fake Bella and then vote Paige. I thought we were just gonna flat out vote out Paige, which we did, but at the time we were still deciding. I thought that if Paige was gonna go out, she wasn't gonna use her idol, and I was hoping she didn't say anything after she went out that she had it, and that way I could play it off that I had the idol. But in the moment, in how charismatic Brandon is, it was really, really hard to lie to him because I felt a trust in him that we had built. I thought that like maybe I'd made a mistake because this guy was like my number one, and I took it back thinking that you know with honesty maybe I'll be forsaken, but obviously I was not.
So, going into a little later in the episode, we're at July 4th, okay? Survivor went over July 4th, and Brandon, before the season even started, said, okay, I'm going to have my July 4th party like he does every year. Brandon loves throwing July 4th parties. But this year he said, nobody can talk game at my party, okay? I'm making it that rule right now before the season even started. He said no talk of Survivor at the party. I get there late from work. I find Brandon and Paige in Brandon's sister's room, just
In
talking
bed
game.
together.
In bed
In
together.
bed together.
Paige isn't wearing a shirt.
Bikini. I was in the
That
bikini. It was a pool party.
But
that
here,
conversation lasted like maybe 45 minutes to an hour. At that point was when everyone started to leave the house too. So I think we went like almost the whole night without talking game. And then somehow that conversation started and everyone had left when I came back from it.
but I mean, like, a lot of people are giving Paige a lot of credit for this little interaction here. I know that you guys kind of write off the clip. You think it's just kind of pointless, but I think it shows a lot of like how much Paige actually did know the game. Even though Paige was on the bottom, she was able to check Brandon for his bullshit. Essentially, Brandon was trying to let Paige's guard down, try to put the target on somebody else. Brandon did not want Paige to use the idol. He wanted her to feel safe enough. And, in the end, it worked. It did work. But, Brandon, you told me that you were actually looking to maybe form some kind of alliance with Paige. You weren't completely bullshitting her the entire time. A part of you actually wanted to, essentially work with her. So, I don't know. We didn't get that a lot in the show. So, I want you guys, you and Paige, to talk about it right now.
Yeah.
Know that?
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if you've rewatched the conversation, but I definitely was not lying to you about saying like just give me something that like I'll throw something that I can trust you or you can trust me with, if you give me one thing that I can trust you with, then we can have a solid foundation for some sort of collaboration in the future. I wanted to have multiple different paths that I could lean on. I know Dylan's already kind of going loopy at this point, so I was like, all right, I'll if Paige isn't voted off by this week, then I don't want to be her number one target bouncing off of that week just in case. So I was legitimate when I was saying that we should work together, but it was almost like a secondary alliance, um, but with the potential of becoming the primary. But in that conversation, you were not willing to put your guard down, so I was not willing to put any foundation in some sort of alliance in the future.
I mean, like, if I was wrong, tell me, but what would it have changed? Like, would you have, if I had, like, told you whatever you wanted to hear, would you have, like, gone back to everyone and been like, let's keep Paige in, whatever? Or would it have just been, like, an alliance if I managed to play the idol and
Yeah,
then
I
save
mean,
them?
oh, sorry.
So I
Yeah.
feel like I wouldn't have gotten anything different out of that,
Oh
is
no.
what I'm.
So if I mean, if in your situation, I completely understand not trusting me, but definitely could have been easily switched to one more vote to Bella than usual. Bella goes home, or we could start talking about how Dylan's about to implode. I mean, there was a lot of options. It was still pretty early on in Leilani. There wasn't too much trust in any sort of alliance at that point. So things definitely could have changed. I definitely could have tried to persuade people, but
Would
from
you
your
have though? Like, would you genuinely have tried? I'm not like
oh
mad or anything.
well
I'm
at
just like
that point
curious. Would you actually have like wanted to do
yeah
that and
yeah
done that?
at that point well if you had told me you had the idol and we could have kept that our little secret, I would have 100% went with it and tried to like kind of take you behind like under my wing without them like knowing that like the other people like Chris, Dre, and Rebecca.
Yeah.
But um, no, I was definitely willing to, but I just needed some sort of reason to, and it was pretty nice. It was like almost from that conversation, uh, you didn't tell me, but I basically from that point on, I understood that you had the idol. So um, it was you had a power. If you're not willing to trust me and you had this huge power, why would I not get you out if I had the opportunity to? But if you had this power and you were willing to work with me, then I was 100% willing to sneak around some other members of Leilani for that week. 100%. I mean,
But
I
like,
will. I won't touch
Paige, I'll
on
let you
future
comment on
stuff.
that, and then
Yeah.
we'll go to something else.
yeah, I didn't, in my mind, and honestly, right now, I didn't have any reason to trust you in the sense that, like, it kind of just, and that's what you did in the end, just you wanted to know if I had the idol or not, and that's just kind
Yeah.
of all I thought the conversation was. And I mean, it was the same, both of us weren't, like, giving the other anything. You gave me no reason to be like, he'd actually keep me in and he doesn't just want to get me out, especially following Selena getting
Yeah.
voted out. So I had, in my mind, I had no reason to like give you anything, and I understand it was the same way back.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where I was coming from.
You
Worked
know,
out well.
oh yeah.
Yeah, 100% think I agree with where you're coming from where I I wouldn't have trusted me either, you know. But it was definitely an alliance that could have been is what I'm saying.
It could have been good. I meant
Could
what
have
I
been.
said. It could have been good.
been.
Yeah, but that conversation, Jesus, that was
That was that conversation probably had the same topic or like the same
it was the same
routine.
sentence,
It was
just
just
different
looping.
There was a
over
lot
and
of
over and
editing
over
in
and over and over
that
again.
sequence. There was a
Yeah.
lot of editing. There was a lot of rough drafts with that sequence that told the
And you
best
came late into
story.
it too, Ronan. So imagine how
did.
much there was before that.
I just
'Cause-
wanted to go get drunk. It was very
Yeah,
painful.
they were already drunk, so.
Yes. So, we'll move on in a second, but Paige, you say that I had no reason to trust Brandon, but the unique thing about our season is that we have pre-existing relationships of friendship for years, you know? Paige and Brandon, you've been friends for years, and Paige, you're telling me you just could not trust him whatsoever? You did the right thing,
Yeah.
but like, is it because he voted out Selena that's when you realize, okay, Brandon's here to play?
It's because she's known Brandon for years.
Sure.
Yeah.
It was more coming from the fact that I knew Brandon really, really, really knew Survivor, and I didn't think he was gonna like, I don't know, put not morals in a shitty way. I just can't think of a better word. Like, wasn't gonna put that above like, and it's fair, $1,000 prize and trying to win Survivor.
Yeah,
It's fair.
definitely.
I was right, and I just didn't think he would do that, and he was gonna prioritize the game. I didn't think he was gonna prioritize our friendship, which obviously isn't actually gonna be affected by what he did or what he didn't outside of the game. So
You
I
know,
never for one second thought he was gonna like actually be like, no, I want Paige to like me after this.
I
because
Let's
think
you
not do that.
guys, yeah, go for it. Sorry.
I think Paige saw that Survivor Brandon was a completely different person, and that yeah, once Selena was voted out, there's definitely something wrong with that. There's like, okay, wait, that I don't know, regular Brandon wouldn't do that shit, but I think that's when she started seeing that I'm not the same person when I was playing the game.
Yeah, when you voted out Selena before like someone else on the team, like Rebecca or someone who you didn't know beforehand, which is what I thought you guys were. I don't know. Again, no game plan. After that, I was like, okay, well, no.
Yeah, there was
There's none of that left.
there was
Which
no
is fair.
no
Yeah,
emotion. There was no like pre-existing emotion before
there
going
was no
into.
carryover
Yeah,
friendship loyalty type
yeah.
shit. Yeah.
It was a complete.
Which I think was cool for the game. I think it's good that a lot of people didn't kind of like carry over friendship type stuff, and I think that worked really well. And some people did, and I think that also made the season really good. So it was a cool little dynamic, like us knowing, or most of us knowing each other and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I thought so.
You know, Brandon in episode 2, he says, or no, episode 3, he says, these girls, they just want to wait till the last second, and then that's when they want to start playing game. And you know, a part of it, I understand. You know, you guys weren't playing the game as much as the rest of the people. You know, for example, there's the whole Six Flags incident. You know, our season was filmed over the course of 39 days. A lot of other college survivors, you know, are like 100 days. They have every week to figure out who they're going to vote out. In some cases, with our scheduling, it was like every 2 days or every 3 days. So you guys did have to be quick. And some people, you know, they put in those confessional times. They, you know, they talked game with a lot of people. So I don't know.
Well-
Our season, yeah. What's up, Sam?
Well, I think the same could be said about a lot of the guys that were playing too. That they weren't taking it very seriously until they like I wasn't taking it. I mean, I'm naturally like I want to play, you know, to win if I'm gonna play, but I wasn't, you know, thinking long-term strategy right off the bat or anything. And I think a lot of like if you think about Dre was just playing to play, and I mean, who else? You know,
Bella.
I also think it's funny on the other hand
Bella.
how
yeah.
On
That
the
first,
other hand,
oh yeah.
in the reverse, and then the inverse, Hannah saying like, "Are these boys really trying right now? Like, do these guys not have anything better to do with their lives right now?" And it's there's a spectrum to it for sure.
That
Mhm.
first week was just very hectic in terms of scheduling, so that's why I'm giving you Paige and Selena the benefit of the doubt that it was just a very rushed schedule and we had a deadline to go. So that's pretty much what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Not just the
And but
girls, you know.
I mean,
but-
to take away a little bit of my benefit of the doubt, I wasn't taking it as seriously as I should until Selena got voted out. I wasn't like, I don't know. I did for some reason I was just like, why would they vote out Selena? Everyone likes Selena. I didn't realize that, and again, it's stupid. I didn't realize how serious it was and like how serious people were taking it. And because I was so late, I had like no plan before that. And then I was like scrambling to come up with a plan when people had been planning like so long before that. And it's on me, and I do understand that. But
I think
you win some, you lose some.
I think the reasoning behind Selena getting evicted was not, or is it evicted in Survivor?
No,
Well,
you're the only person who says it.
do I say it in all of the?
You
the
say it a
season?
lot. I had to cut around it.
No.
Does it even make sense?
Yeah, well, it does in Big Brother. Um,
But we'll
You're
But-
evicted from the island.
yeah. But the reason was of Selena getting voted out was kind of like, almost like a hostage situation. It's like, we know you have the idol. We'll pick off your friends one by one until you give it to us. Like, we're not
What?
fucking
Because she
around,
was
Paige. Give us
marketable?
the idol. You were obviously correlated with Selena, so we
Oh, I get
uh,
why you guys did it. It was smart.
yeah.
I'm not gonna say it wasn't. It was a smart thing to do.
Selena's vote
Yeah,
out,
you played very well.
Selena's vote out, Selena wasn't that big of a character on the show. It was the first episode. We all
I
love
do have to
Selena.
head out, guys, but
Brandon
you
will
for
be
having
heading
me.
out.
yeah,
Bye,
we'll
Brandon.
talk about that.
When Selena gets voted out, I think it really shows, like, dude, this is a game. Like, you saw Selena obviously, like, on the urge of tears, leaving. That's when I was hoping the game would pick up, and it did for the most part. But, let's go to episode 3. We have Dylan S. and Kristoff, the casualties of episode 3. So, first of all, Dylan, you were actually away on a trip for the immunity challenge, the individual immunity challenge. And, did you think you were going to be chill when you came back? Or, what was your whole mindset when you were coming back from Colorado? Because I keep telling the season 2 cast, do not miss days of Survivor. I don't know if you guys want to give your little pitch there to them and give them a little advice, but maybe Kristoff can relate to that as well. But
Yeah. Of course, the day I miss is an individual immunity challenge. When I found that out, I was so bummed. Unfortunately, I couldn't plan the trip any better. It was a family vacation, so I had to go. But, it definitely, it's almost comparable to getting an idol when you miss days of Survivor, because it just puts a target on your back. I kind of feel like it was the same for me. Not only that, but the fact that I said that stuff to Brandon, it just all compiled, and that's kind of what led to me going. But I definitely should not miss an episode of Survivor. Definitely don't. If you're
Well, you had an immunity idol, right?
No.
no, that was the whole thing.
Sorry, he deceived me. He was just.
It was just so good of a deceiving.
He got
Yeah.
someone.
Even though the show's been out already. I understand, though. I understand. I mean, so the challenge happens. Dylan T wins immunity. Dre wins immunity. We have Sam and Dylan T talking in the back of Francois's house. Sam is trying to convince Dylan T to flip on Kristoff. But what Sam doesn't know is that Dylan T
No, I knew.
and Kristoff. Okay, well, you had an idea. So when you're trying to pitch this idea to flip on Kristoff, did you think you were gonna be able to do it? Did you think walking out of that conversation we have that vote locked up, or what was going on?
Well, I thought there was a chance for sure. Because again, I didn't know that Dylan had this debt to pay towards Kristoff, but I actually I left the party after the challenge, or I left the house after the challenge to go pick up my partner Julia, and she needed a pickup. I knew I wanted to talk to Dylan to try to get him to get that vote, because we had some votes secured. I think we had 3 votes out of those 7 at the time, right?
Yeah.
So we needed one other vote, and I thought we could get Dylan to do that, but I come in looking for Dylan, looking to talk to Dylan. I look around, no Dylan. I look around again, no Kristoff. I went, oh fuck. And I'm like walking around, drinking a beer. Julia's talking to Dylan's partner, and then I see both of them enter the dining room at the same exact time, and I went, all right. So that just happened. Yeah, so I pulled him outside. I think I mentioned it in our talk. I said I saw you talking to Kristoff, blah, 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 blah. Knew I couldn't count on that vote, because he was like, oh, we're thinking about voting out, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, maybe, but I don't know about that. and then the whole thing with Hannah came into play. But we again, I think it was touched on, but we all wanted to make sure that Dylan still felt pressured, like we needed his vote still up until the vote, and I think that really played to our advantage.
100%. Yeah, I thought that was very important as well. If you just walked out of that conversation, didn't put any more effort in, then it could have been different. But okay, so we go to Kristoff. I mean, Dylan T didn't have the idol at that point, but still, great play. Kristoff, I didn't have any footage to really, explain your side, but Sam and Reed and Tommy, they're able to get Hannah on their side. Did you guys just think Hannah was locked up? Was there any kind of conversations with Hannah that happened behind the scene that I didn't know of? Or like, did you guys just kind of think, okay, we have 4 votes, we're good, we can just hang out this week? Or did you really just think that vote was locked up? Was there any conversations with Hannah at all going up to the tribal council?
Well, my problem is that like I kind of never talked to Hannah. It was the only person who ever talked to Hannah was Rachel, and I don't know if I can't remember if she actually had full on conversations. I think or just texted her. I mean, but then again, Hannah also did say it basically came down to her tarot cards. So like, like, but at
You
the
said
same,
that?
she says that in the episode. She's like, well, we're gonna look at the cards and see what they'll see what they say. And she's like, well, one is gonna be more entertaining and one's gonna be a safer option. So she went with the more entertaining option, clearly. But yeah, I mean, I kind of knew I was gonna be voted out at that challenge because like I didn't really, I knew Dylan was gonna be voting for me. I knew Rachel was gonna be voting on my side, but like I never talked to Hannah but I just kind of went off the assumption that at that point, like basically only girls have been voted off, and like I figured Hannah was gonna like lean towards the only other girl on our team's side, since she'd been talking all that girl power. I mean, there were a lot of assumptions, but I didn't have an actual conversation with her. I kind of just trusted Rachel to do that, and in the end, that didn't work out for me.
So
But
Rachel
it kind
dropped
of
the
worked
ball.
out. I mean, in actual real life, it worked out really well because I mean, I was very busy that summer, so it worked out a lot for me in the long run. But like, yeah, it sucked to get voted out.
Kristoff,
But
do you want
I
to give
also
the
knew it because like I showed up late to that chat. I showed up late, and you were like, "We need you here." I'm like, "Well, either the vote is split, which couldn't even be a possibility, or I'm about to get voted out." Because there's no way it would make no sense that the vote wasn't if the vote was split. I mean, like in hindsight, I probably would have tried to do something where at the beginning I try to get Tommy on my side because I know Tommy is about the one person I could expect to just flip flop
Yeah.
either side.
I
But
was
Tommy would have definitely voted out Sam if he was like, yeah, this will be funny. Like, yeah, no, I mean, in
Exactly.
his
If it's
intro,
funny, he would have.
the
yeah,
the
no,
whole time I was making strategy, like I was mapping out votes and stuff, and I'm seeing different ways it could have gone. Tommy was like always like, okay, one of the scenarios was always, what if Tommy betrays me and votes me out? Because that's a high possibility. That's why I kind of added a buffer zone in the vote I got voted out in, and that's kind of what did it. I should have just
has
trusted.
that been aired yet?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I didn't want to say anything. I mean, because I know everything that happened behind the scenes for that too, but it'd be better if Dylan or Rachel talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we will get into Dylan and Rachel and everything that happens in the merge. Obviously we don't know who wins yet. You guys do. The show's been over for a while now. But Kristoff, your vote out, honestly, your vote out was very entertaining. When I was listening to the confessionals and I heard it was coming down to tarot cards, I was like, of course, this is what's going to happen. Kristoff, you're a good friend of mine. I believe you are a very competitive and strategic player. We didn't get to see that a lot on the show, unfortunately. You're very busy, but I was like, of course, this is the way Kristoff is taken out of the game.
Yeah, I'm
Of
taking out
course.
by luck. I
Like
love how
tarot
my side was
cards.
the safer side for her. Like she was like, "Oh,
Fate.
this is
It's
safer
fate.
for me to do," but she was like, "But this one's more entertaining." Like that's how I remember she described it. Is like, I have two options here. One's dangerous, which as you'll see you'll see how that plays out in the season. But like, yeah, no.
Any hard feelings though? I mean, obviously you could say no hard feelings. It's been a while now, but like Dylan
Oh,
and Christoph, like, were you upset with Hannah? Dylan, were you upset with Brandon in your alliance, or is there a
Rachel
point where
was
you're like,
way.
okay, I could have played the game better. This is my fault.
Oh, I definitely could have played the game better, but Rachel was way more mad than I was. Like, because Rachel really, because Rachel's the one who talked to her, so she felt really betrayed. And so, like, I mean, you could see how she reacted in the episode. I'm pretty sure she was extremely pissed. And then the challenge was, just it was another running challenge. So, like, and of course, like, as soon as I get voted out, it's another running challenge.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
think
perfect timing for payback on the team. That felt good. That felt good. Getting voted out and then having to watch them run and not know how to spell.
yeah,
Dude, that was
I agree.
that
Dylan, I want
challenge
you
sucked.
to answer that also if you can.
Yeah, I agree with what Christoph says. I didn't take it too personally. I knew that I kind of had it coming because of my fuck up. Um, but I feel like some people, when they got voted off Survivor, they were like, fuck, like I'm never coming back, like it's over. But for someone like me, I was there for every episode after, like hanging out, and it was really cool to get to be behind the scenes and watch all the tribals, and then also see my teammates work when I don't have to, and then root for them. But at the end of the day, I do feel a little bit robbed. I wish I could have stayed a little bit longer. One stupid mistake and it really did lead to my downfall. So that sucks, but hopefully in the future I can redeem myself. You never know. Hopefully page 2. But yeah, I don't hold any hard feelings for sure.
You
I
guys
was
were,
mad.
yeah.
I
You
was
were.
mad at I was very mad at Brandon. I was
Yeah,
very-
I would say.
Yeah, I mean,
it was embarrassing.
It was.
Whatever. It
You
it
was.
guys were the
out
guinea
for me.
pigs. You guys were the first season. That was the hard part about this season for me, was just seeing all of my good friends just go against each other, and the tensions are getting high. And for me, it was like when you got voted out. Obviously, we're still gonna be friends after this, but a part of me just felt a little dead inside. The next season is gonna be a lot of strangers. That's what Survivor's supposed to be, and I bet we're gonna become friends and closer as the season progresses. But that is the game that everybody is essentially signing up for. And maybe if you guys played in season 2 and not in season 1, and you saw how season 1 played out, you would see that the game is really competitive as soon as you step on that beach. As soon as the game starts, the game is on. And you may say, oh yeah, I wasn't trying, I wasn't thinking that far down the line. But I think in this next season we're going to see that a lot more. We're going to see people coming to play and obviously trying to come out on top. I think you guys all play to the best of your ability. I'm not downplaying that whatsoever, but I don't know, you guys are the guinea pigs at the end of the day. And you guys, season 1 is always going to have a place in my heart.
I have a question for.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
You
Sam,
sure?
go for it.
I have a question for Paige. Doesn't it suck, like getting voted out and it's your own fault? Like it's because you're an idiot.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
got
worst
voted out
part.
with the idol.
I
I'm the
know.
person who got voted out with the idol.
Yeah, and
It's
I didn't know the
dumb as
rules,
fuck.
so
So we
like
will go into
it
episode
was
4.
it pissed me off.
Embarrassing for a
Yeah.
reason. I was mad because Brandon embarrassed the shit out of me because of how bad. I mean, it wasn't just Brandon, but I mean, if Ronan, he didn't include it. I think I had like my entire like post getting voted out confessional was just me like yelling about like Brandon and stuff. Um,
Well,
it was
and
embarrassing. He fucking like voted out with the idol.
Should we go into
yeah.
episode 4 to talk about Sam and stuff? Or is there anything else you want to note, Sam?
Well, I'll be honest. I had like I played it off, pretty chill, and I don't hold any like harsh feelings, but I was a little butthurt that I got out that way. That's not how I wanted to go. And good. I tried to be a good sport, and I think I was. But I was more angry at myself, obviously, and it's upsetting. I'll admit I haven't even watched the fourth episode.
Oh wow,
Holy shit.
Because
I don't
I'm
know
like
that
he's not
I'm gonna be
ready.
I'm gonna be so pissed at myself. Also, it was bedtime when we were watching the fourth episode together, and I was tired.
I didn't like
So-
watching myself get voted out either. It wasn't fun.
We will go into episode 4. So episode 4 starts with the recoil of Kristoff's voting out. Hannah apologizes profusely to Kristoff and Dylan T and Rachel. She did it for the game. Hannah's a production in her own self. Personally, I love it. The fact that she took out Kristoff, I was a little bummed out about it. But at the same time, I was like, Kristoff, Sam, I mean, you guys, when I was making this cast, I knew you guys were going to be in the show from the get-go. Sam, I know the way you are. You love stuff like this, even though you don't know Survivor too well. I just knew you would fit perfectly into the show. Kristoff, like I said, very competitive, very calculating, and you guys were great for the show. I think you guys were great pre-merge boots. That's always a discussion of what makes a good season is a pre-merge boot. So we go into episode 4. We go into the egg challenge. The egg challenge, Rachel's running back and forth the entire time. She does not check the board once, and you guys end up spelling a bunch of bullshit words, not even close. Do you want to touch on that?
Can I just say that, I was switching roles that whole time, and I mean I do feel bad. Rachel was upset with us, understandably. She ran for how long did that challenge
25
last?
minutes.
Oh my god.
There's no way I could run back and forth for 25 minutes. Does she run, Kristoff?
Actually, she just Snapchatted me. She ran a 5K today at the gym.
Oh wow.
Okay, so never mind. But
She runs.
I mean,
She does
super
run.
impressive, and there's no way I was gonna do that. And we had 2 catchers. Hannah comes out of the gate going, "I'm great at Scrabble" or something. I don't know. Did you get
She
that?
was actually insanely good at that. I still can't believe she wasn't the one spelling.
Well, and at least she should have. We should have switched her out, and that's like kind of on the whole team, but also partially on like me because I was making some switch calls, like when we should switch runners and stuff, and Rachel never expressed a want to switch, and I didn't know she had that talent. But, Hannah just was over there kind of in charge of the words. And I think I switched out for Reed so I could catch some for the team and get some letters. Never figured out that pattern of the eggs, by the way. I thought I had like 3 times. And then, things changed. I'm like, oh, I didn't figure it out. But I was kind of just putting the words down. And then I looked down bullshit words. And there were like 2 minutes, 3 minutes left, and I'm just like, there's no way. And then we pulled everybody back, I think, at the last couple minutes, and Rachel was just like, what is going on? What are these? That's not a word. What is this? And, at that moment, and the moments after that, I will admit, did I want to vote Hannah out? Maybe. It would have been an easy play. I know it would have. It would have been such an easy play, and it would have saved me for the week. But, she saved my ass last week, so I couldn't do that. But did I want to? Yes, of course I did. If I'm being honest, I wanted to vote Hannah out and kind of turn on her, but, I wouldn't.
So if you haven't seen the episode yet, Sam, there's a little bit of a motif throughout the season on Reed's part. Reed keeps spilling information. He has a loud mouth. Even in the challenge, you say, hey, Reed, listen to me. Get the yellow ones. Get the yellow eggs. And then he's like, what? You're like, get the yellow eggs. He's like, yeah, I know. We're getting the yellow eggs. And then, your face is like, what the fuck? Everyone, like even the producer, I think Louis was just laughing like, God fucking damn it, Reed. But in that episode, you also find out that Brandon says that Reed comes up to him and tells him they have a majority alliance. They call themselves the Splash Zone, and he lists everybody in the Splash Zone. And then, earlier, I believe Reed tells Rebecca in episode 3 that they're voting out Kristoff. Dude, I love Reed. Don't get me
Wait,
wrong.
he does? In episode 3? I didn't see that.
It's not a conversation. It's Rebecca explaining that Reed told Rebecca
Oh
that they were
God.
voting out Kristoff.
Yeah. And then Reed talks so much shit about Rachel. like
Reed?
like
Yeah.
like an insane amount. Like no one else gets shit talked, and then there's Reed talking about Rachel. But
What was
God, it
he
felt
saying
good to
about
watch Sam
Rachel?
get voted out.
I
God,
love
that felt so good.
I
Especially
love
What was he saying
Reed.
about Rachel?
He was
What?
like Rachel's going down, whatever. He was just like,
Oh,
who cares that she was running a lot?
Not like
Like,
I wasn't
Oh.
saying like he was like
He wasn't doing.
He
He
wasn't being like
wasn't
mean.
saying.
no,
mean.
it was fun
no,
trash talk.
I was meaning it like, like she's going down, like she's getting
Oh.
voted out. That's what I meant. I didn't mean like he's actually talking like shit. Like I just meant like in Survivor terms.
I
Yeah,
got
like
you.
game whatever.
No,
Gotcha.
Kristoff's right. There was a lot of
I mean,
Reed just being
I
like,
saw like a long clip of at least like 45 seconds to a minute of him just getting voted out, like all this stuff. I was like, wow. He was
Dude.
very adamant.
Reed and Rachel had some beef that they never even really touched on. I think Rachel really didn't have a problem with Reed, but Reed just had such an issue with Rachel, and it's just like this weird like little dynamic that's just completely one-sided, and Reed just like had a
Rachel didn't even know.
Here's the thing. I knew 100% I could count on Reed just because I trust him enough where he won't really backstab me. And also, I guess I saw on him what other people in the show saw on him, that he's not a good liar and he just gives up strategy. It didn't occur to me that maybe we should make it very clear that we shouldn't be telling anybody these. I mean, I put a little bit of thought, at least for a week or two, into some strategy and like wrote it out on a napkin real quick, like all the scenarios, and then approached the group about it. I didn't know I had to tell them not to tell anybody. I thought it was implied that you don't tell strategy to anybody else but the people in the alliance.
So
I mean,
oh yeah, sorry, go Kristoff.
well, I was gonna say like the week Sam got voted out, Rachel met Tommy, and Tommy said they were voting Rachel out, or whomever was Rachel out. Like, so they knew. So she just trusted that Tommy was telling the truth. So that's how they knew to give That's how Dylan knew to give Rachel the hidden immunity out of, because Tommy was the one that told Rachel that.
Yep.
Wait.
Tommy wasn't the one who. Tommy is the one who ultimately
We
actually
talking
screwed
about
both.
this?
Give me a second, because I need to think about because we purposefully mentioned. I don't know if you remember, Ronan. We mentioned if anybody asked us to say we're voting out a certain person, and it might have been Rachel. I think we might have wanted to play a mind game where it's like we say we're
wanted
voting.
to say that you were voting out Hannah because Hannah was flip-floppity. She screwed Kristoff, and you guys thought that would be a good bluff to say.
What did we tell Dylan?
You told Dylan that you guys wanted to vote out Hannah because Dylan and Rachel were really good competitors in the egg challenge, but you were just lying to Dylan. Obviously, you were going to vote out Rachel. But Dylan, realized Dylan's a great narrator. Dylan Turksoy, he's a great narrator on the show. And he says it doesn't make sense. Why would they backstab Hannah when they just saved Sam? It doesn't make any sense. They just gained power with Hannah. There's no reason to vote out Hannah. Sam is lying. And, to his credit, he pretty much figured it out. But, Tommy was the one who told Rachel what was happening, and there's a viewer on the show. His name is James Chin, I believe. I don't want to mess that up, but he watches a lot of College Survivor. I've seen him in other channels. He's always commenting. He likes to be engaged in this community. James, if you're watching this, thank you for the engagement. I think that's really cool. I really want to please viewers like this. This is what the show is made for, So he loves commenting on the show, and he says he can obviously tell that this season not a lot of people know the game that well, and I think he breaks it down very well in this comment. He talks about how we get to see like the human nature of people in this show. Tommy just feels really bad that Rachel is being voted out. Her boyfriend was voted out. Tommy has a relationship with Rachel, a friendship, And he doesn't want to screw Rachel over, so he wants to tell her straight up, hey Rachel, I'm sorry, but we are voting you out. He wasn't trying to pull anything, he just wanted to straight up tell her, friend to friend. And obviously it's what costed your game, Sam. Tommy doesn't know that much Survivor, but that's what he told Rachel, and he didn't realize what could have happened because of that.
I didn't know about this until just now.
Yeah. So another thing to go
I'm
into.
upset.
I gave everybody a explanation / tutorial rules video in the beginning of the season to watch. I explained how voting worked, and while this week is happening, I see Sam's plan with Reed, and I'm just like, oh boy, like this is gonna be an issue because Sam does not know how the voting works. Sam is gonna get idled out of the game, and I can't say anything at this time. I can't just say in the group chat, hey guys, just so you guys know, this is how voting works. Like, that's just sketchy as fuck. The entire game is flipped. Obviously they go with the right way, but the whole concept of splitting the votes is pretty important in Survivor, but like I said, that is one of the unique things about our season is we don't have people who are super fans in the game. This is the comment right here. And because the players are approaching Survivor with fresh eyes, we can see the human element, how the vote-offs are clearly affecting them, with Brandon explaining why he was glad to stay away from Tribal due to the emotional toll it takes on him to vote out his friends, and Tommy revealing why he gave up crucial information to Rachel because he felt bad for Kristoff's vote out last week, and how Rachel tried in the challenge last week. It's fantastic stuff. And I love this comment because I was a little worried when the show was happening. I was like, shoot, I really hope we don't lose some viewers because of that. The fact that their game is not as strategically dominant as it could be. But I think you guys played amazing. I really do, and I'm proud of every single one of you guys. Like, don't get me wrong, I can never play this game. I am way too anxious to do this shit, and I think you guys played amazing. So, any last comments with this episode, Sam?
No. And I would love redemption. Maybe one day.
That is what I'm gonna go into right now. So I don't know how we're gonna do this, but eventually we do want to try to do some kind of a returning season. I will give you guys the spotlight each if you want to make a little pitch. Maybe we'll do like kind of a voting scenario with the audience. Maybe you don't want to play again. Maybe you do want to play again. But at the end of the day, I think the audience should be the one who decides who plays again. Obviously, production will go into somewhat of a factor, but who wants to start? Does anybody even want to do this? I'm not trying to like make you like
I'd love to play again.
Beg for your life or anything. Kristoff, go for it.
No, I would love to play again. I think I think if I were to play it again, like I would definitely first off I would have better strategy, but second off I think I'd be in a better position of being just actually being able to focus a little bit more time on the game. Also, I know that the fact that the next time I play it, it's not going to be with a bunch of close friends, which is both going to make it more interesting and it's going to make it a lot more strategic because, going into it the first time, I knew everybody there. So I used a bunch of my, that made me play different if I didn't know people, because if that, I probably would have been forced to make more moves if I didn't know people, because I have to work on, gaining people's trust. So I think, I was just super busy that summer. It kind of also we were supposed to start earlier in the summer, and then we ended up crunching it all down at the last second. So kind of squished together. But no, I would totally want to play it again. It was a lot of fun when I did it.
I want to comment on you, Kristoff, because scheduling is a huge issue with this season, and in season 2 in the application process, I make it clear you guys need to show up every week, and it just wasn't in the cards for you that summer, so it was very tough to see you go. I knew if you made it to the merge, you were going to be a beast in those challenges. And I made a comment on one YouTube comment. Somebody was like, "No, Kristoff gone too soon," and I was like, you know what? I love Kristoff, but I had a feeling it was gonna be a pre-merge boot. But Kristoff, I would love to see you again.
I thought Kristoff was gonna last a while. Honestly, I really thought you were gonna last for a good amount of time.
I don't agree with that, Paige, just because I think we all think pretty highly of Kristoff's both athletic ability and intellect. Therefore,
He's a target.
He's gonna be gone. I thought he was gonna be gone midway through, which I think he kind of was, probably beginning middle.
Christoph
But
got placed 11th, I believe.
but what I'm bummed about
12.
is that I didn't get more competitions with Kristoff, because I think as a teammate, he would be a dream to work with. Like during the card challenge, come on, we wouldn't have Reed thinking that the top row was the bottom row, and like pulling a Dylan. I'm gonna call it that now, because now that I know that Reed wasn't the only one.
So
It's
Sam,
not
let's go
Reed.
with you. What is your case to play again? I feel like you guys joined the podcast. Selena and Alex aren't obviously as invested. We won't go to them, but you guys say your piece. Why would you want to play again, Sam? What do you think you'll do different?
Guys, I cannot play again. I wanted to hype it up with the last thing, but I'm changing up my major. I'm like 2.5 years into college, and I switched into architecture, which, if you don't know, is a very, very just like time, like it just eats up your time. And I'm trying to rush through. I'm taking some classes at a community college and then going to a 3-year program, because it's a 5-year. Architecture's 5-year at a 4-year university. So I'm going to a 3-year program in a 4-year university, hopefully, or I will, but hopefully a good one. And I'm gonna have no time, and
There
I
you
would
have
love
it.
to, but I I I
That's
can't.
so cool, though. Wait, good for you. Architecture's gonna. That's awesome.
It's
Wait, so you're
fun.
doing 5 years of schooling in like 3 years?
Uh, do you want me to explain now,
We'll
Ronan,
explain
or?
later. We'll explain later.
Later, yeah. That's
Okay.
cool.
But there you have
That's
it.
cool.
Sam
I
is
do want to talk
off
about
the
that.
ballot. Sam
I
is
do want
not
to
going
talk
to be
about that later.
competing again,
Unless I surprise people.
unless he surprises people. We don't know.
Yes,
The
star.
comeback kid.
No, but I can't. Okay.
Sam is done.
Well, maybe Survivor's gonna be continuing after you graduate.
Hey, we'll see.
That'd
All
be
right,
You never.
cool.
Dylan, do you want to go next? Do you want to say anything just to
Yeah,
the viewers or
just-
to anybody?
Just let me hit the shack.
Priorities. Oh shit! Hold on.
So-
my mic is. Fuck.
For me, I definitely want to come back and play. I think one of the interesting things about the way that I did mess up was that I could have played more of a villainous card if I were to just go through with it and never go back on my word with Brandon. And, our season, there really wasn't anybody who was a villain. Granted, you could interpret Brandon as a villain, but I kind of wanted to be, with the hat as well, kind of the Russell of Survivor in a way. After I said that to Brandon, and it just didn't work out. But for me, I would love to come back and get another chance to dominate a season. Just what Christoph said, the fact that there were so many friends and mutuals, especially for me, I knew pretty much the entire cast for the most part. I think that also, clouded my decision making. It made it really hard, even with people like Paige and Selena, it was really hard to make those decisions, in a game where I didn't know anybody. I feel like I could really thrive. But yeah, I would definitely come back and not make the same mistake, hopefully.
Dylan, I loved your time on the show. I feel a little bad because I think before the season started, I think I said something that was not really cool to you. I think I said something along the lines of, Dylan, you'll get out early or some shit like that. I made a lighthearted joke, and I hope that didn't affect your mindset for the game. But Dylan, I know you love Survivor, and I know you wanted to play the game, and it is unfortunate the way it turned out. But as a friend, Dylan, I'm so happy you were on the show, and I think you did what you could. And at the end of the day, your tribe was, they were pretty united, and once you were on the bottom of that alliance, that Boulevard Ballers, it was, it was unfortunately the end. So
Hey, one more thing. What was the new alliance name, if any, after Boulevard Ballers?
it was like, it doesn't go into the show, but it's like Slaughterhouse.
Oh,
Because
okay.
Big Brother
Totally
21,
lame.
Big Brother 22 was coming out at the time, and they had a Slaughterhouse Alliance. That's what they called it. It was a whole mess. I wasn't gonna
Yeah.
go with that.
Good. Boulevard Ballers was always better. Anyways,
But
That's my opinion.
okay. I mean, Paige, take it away. Is there anything you want to say to the audience? You know, Paige, a lot of people seem to like you. You know, when the show was coming, when I was editing the show, I didn't think you were gonna have that much of an impact on the show. But even though you only made it to episode 2, you know, you got some comments out there. You know, people seem to like you. I guess maybe it's because you went ahead against Brandon. You know, you were butting heads with Brandon. I don't know what it was, but is there anything you want to say or make a case for yourself to what you're gonna do differently next time if you do play again?
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know what it was either. It's so sweet of everyone, and honestly, I'm getting a big head because of it. But it was really cool, but I do want to play again, 100%. I'm gonna try and I don't know if I'm gonna word this right, but I want to like kind of like make myself worth being one of the people who play again because I obviously didn't have the gameplay I should have. I didn't like know Survivor like I should have. And if I'm gonna play again and be one of the people who's gonna play again, I kind of want to like know the stuff and like just from the beginning just take it as seriously as it needs to be taken and stuff like that. I'd love to play again. It stresses me out so much, but it was fun and honestly, overall, I'm not just talking about like the comments that were sweet to me. I think there have been really good comments like throughout every like one of your videos, like on YouTube. People leave really, really, really good comments. But I'd like to. I would really like to. I just need to know more about Survivor.
Kristal's rolling his eyes over here. Kristal, what were you making a reference to?
I was just I thought I was in the background and you weren't paying attention.
No, I see everything.
Why did you roll your eyes?
I was just kind of rolling I've been rolling my eyes a lot. I've been burping a lot this whole entire time, like trying to hide it. Like,
Yeah.
but I'm not talking. I'm just sitting here. So I was just like entertaining myself.
At the end of the day, guys, I just can't thank you guys enough. You know, here we are going into the merge episodes. There's 10 players left, and at the end, of course, only one will be crowned. You guys know who wins, but the audience doesn't. You got your guys' times on the show were great. Like I said, you guys are all great friends of mine. It's just the fact that you came out last summer and competed was more than I could ask for. Whether we see you guys again, thank you for your time on Survivor, and we'll have like a good format to like how we can get someone back in Survivor. This is not like the last case you guys can make. We'll do like a little like video for whoever wants to come back maybe to make their case. So just giving you guys this little time to explain yourself. But is there anything else you guys want to talk about, or is that it? All right, well, thank you guys. And, if you're watching this video, if you're watching the entire way through, it's obviously because you're invested in Survivor San Diego. I just want to tell you guys, thank you so much for following with the show. This is all very new to us, and we're pretty much just going with it as we please. We love this show. I love this show. I'm putting so much work into the show. I love the College Survivor community. I always wanted to be a part of it, and the fact that now we have a product to show for, I think it can only go up from here. We made a few mistakes our first season, but season 2, we're really going to work on polishing those mistakes. And I can tell you right now, we have a good cast lined up for the second season. If you're watching this and you want to try to play in season 3, the applications for Survivor San Diego season 3 will be going out very soon. We're going to be scheduling for the summer. So if you're here this summer, check it out. We're looking for people who are willing to be open in front of the camera, who have a lot to say, and want to like have something to show for. So you don't have to be a Survivor super fan. You just have to know how to roll with the punches and adapt. So that's all I really got for right now. But we will see you guys tomorrow for the episode 5 of Survivor San Diego, and then we will do a season wrap up before the finale episode. So thank you guys, and that's all I got.